What a matchup!
And what a team, Mike. Metro PCS and the iPhone SE for $0 on a network that covers 99% of people in the U.S. Oh, impressive.
Play with the best. Switch to Metro PCS on an unlimited LTE plan and get a 32-gig iPhone SE for $0. Metro PCS. Coverage not available in some areas, plus sales tax. Claim based on talk and text. Not valid for active numbers currently on the T-Mobile network or active on Metro PCS in the past 90 days. See store for details and terms and conditions.
What a matchup!
And what a team, Mike. Metro PCS and the iPhone SE for $0 on a network that covers 99% of people in the U.S. Oh, impressive.
Play with the best. Switch to Metro PCS on an unlimited LTE plan and get a 32-gig iPhone SE for $0. Metro PCS. Coverage not available in some areas, plus sales tax. Claim based on talk and text. Not valid for active numbers currently on the T-Mobile network or active on Metro PCS in the past 90 days. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. This is Mack Maloney. We have a very interesting shoe for you tonight, but first, let me introduce the posse, or the posse, as I think we've decided to call it. I'll have to check.
The posse.
But here we go. Girls, he's here again. 5th week in a row.
You got it.
Very famous Juan-Juan.
Right. Tanned and freshened up just for you. Yep.
Yeah, I hope you're talking about all the girls up there you did that for?
That's right.
Okay, all right. And you went to a tanning booth. Is that what we're saying?
No, I was out in the nature.
Oh, out in nature, really?
Nature,
Yeah.
yep.
Okay, all right.
Hey, no tanning booth for me.
No.
Like a coffin with a light in it.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
Jeez. You don't kiss
Wow.
me in there. Not that I'm claustrophobic or anything, but it's so stupid.
But it's to go to a tanning booth is really, I don't understand it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Because
It'd be different if it was a booth. It's a coffin.
It's a coffin. It's a coffin, and you're expected to lay in there and get hit by dangerous ultraviolet rays, and and
then roll over after a certain time.
And then roll over,
Yeah.
But a lot of
well, if you don't want tan lines, that's the way to do it.
yeah, right, yeah.
See, that's the thing.
See, I like tan lines.
I do too. I'm on a mailing list called Tan Lines.
Oh, you really have. Why does that not? Why does that not surprise me?
Somebody put me on it. I didn't do it. And I don't know how to get off of it.
And what is it? Well, you don't know how to get off it. That's what you do for a living. You're an IT guy.
I know.
What is on it? What tell me all about it.
It's just
please.
pictures of young ladies with tan lines.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a little confab after the segment.
Okay. That's all I want to say.
In doing some research. Anyway.
This show is rated PG or what?
Okay, here's the, last week's show, 2 weeks ago, not PG.
Oh, no.
Yeah. No. But anyway, we'll see. We're just starting tonight. Let's see where this goes, okay? Now, I have good news and bad news. The bad news is that Cobra's not here tonight.
Oh,
Cobra.
man.
Bummer.
Yeah, not here.
Major bummer switch.
Okay. But...
Because I like his energy and his
Yes.
passion, and I feel like I'm in 30 Seconds Over Tokyo. I'm like a
all the
tail
time.
gunner.
Right. Yeah, right. You got to save us, Juan-Juan. Yeah. Right.
I'm trying, sir. I'm trying.
Yeah. He's crawling,
I'm running out of bullets.
He's crawling out on the wing, fixing the engine, while the plane is flying. Anyway, but so following down
War
following
Stories.
Cobra's tracks, and actually stepping all over his intro is Switchblade Steve Ward.
Yes.
Joining us tonight as the substitute Cobra.
Well, as a substitute, it probably would be likely that I would step all over my intro.
Okay. Is there a joke in there somewhere?
I mean, well, no. I mean, I'm just not as adept at it as you guys are.
Oh, I see. Okay, all right.
You're right. We are adept at it.
But I do have some news.
Okay, all right. Is it about your booming career?
Well, actually, it's going to segue into that a little bit, probably.
Okay, go ahead.
Now, those of us that have been in the military, as our time was growing to retirement.
Oh, really? 109 days to retire?
109 days, June 15th.
Okay, all right. Yep, all right. Interesting.
To retirement?
Yes. Well, retirement from real work.
Except for your hobbies.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I've
had people ask me, well, what are you going to do with yourself? I said, good Lord, I've got all kinds of interests, there's not going to be enough time and money to do the stuff that I want to do.
Right. Well, you earned it this Switch.
Good for you. Yep. Good move.
It's ironic because someone asked me the other day that Switch was about 25 years old and was interested in sending him.
He does have a young-sounding voice, doesn't he?
Anyway, okay, he's retired.
Well, I've always tried to keep a certain level of immaturity. That's probably what it is.
Good work there, Switch.
Is there a supplement for that?
Yes, it's called marijuana. Stop. Anyway, so you're going to be taking Coco's place tonight. They call him Coco on the street. Because coming up later on, first of all, we're going to be talking soon to Willy Miranda, who has a new show coming out on KCOR Friday nights at 9 p.m. And it is called Juan-Juan?
Paradigm Matrix.
The Paradigm Matrix with Willy Miranda. We suggested that he call it the Miranda Warning, but he didn't really go for that, I guess, off air. So it's the Paradigm Matrix with Willy Miranda, KCOR Radio, Friday nights at 9 p.m. He's going to be coming up later on in the show. And then we're going to be talking to, you ready there, Juan-Juan, Dr. Lira.
Oh, man.
Okay.
We haven't talked to her in how long?
I know. And she's going to be analyzing us again. If people remember, about 6 months ago, she kind of straightened us out. We were going through a little bit of a Beatle moment when our audience ballooned from like about 1,700 to like 496,000 or something like that.
Macamania, they called it.
Macamania, they called it, was right. And it turned out that Ringo and George got big heads about it, and we had to have Dr. Lira come in and straighten things out.
And she sure did.
She called Juan-Juan the Action Man, okay, and he does still wear a cape now with a big A on it for the past 6 months. Called
Mr. T.
Cobra.
Mr. Testosterone.
Mr. Testosterone, very good. Another one of your monikers. She called Cobra the Feelings Man. And if you remember that show, I had Jeff put the song Feelings underneath the entire segment, by the Raycon of Singers.
Oh, good band.
Yep. And so she's going to be back tonight. And I hate to say this, Switch, but this is a little bit of an intervention. Because in the past, less than a month, Switch has got like 7 speaking engagements. He's going to be now going across the country giving, speeches and so on.
He's got a booking agent.
He's got some kind of
travel manager.
Exactly. Okay. And,
itinerary guy.
Even though now he says he'll remember us, right? As I said before, I got a feeling, I got the vibe he's going to be like Dylan and kick us out of the limo, once he's decided he's famous enough. I just feel that coming. A little bit like, Cobra was 6 months ago when he insisted on appearing on the radio show in his flight suit, with the helmet, and doing personal appearances with the flight suit, right? As we know, one of them was in a bar in Hampton, the other one was in Leominster UFO.
With full helmet, full dress. He was ready,
right?
With the visor down, the whole
visor
deal.
Down, and so Dr. Lira kind of pulled us back from the brink. Okay, she's here again tonight to pull Switch back from the brink because. He's, when you have that meteoric rise, Juan-Juan, that means that the way down is going to be twice
way
as fast.
Steeper, way faster.
So you have to kind of come to your senses there, Switchy. We feel like we've made you, but so did the Dr. McFrankenstein. So
well, I didn't think I was going to forget you guys, but I was having trouble remembering whether Maloney had 1 or 2 L's in it. So maybe this is a good thing.
See what happens too is that when people
it's 1 L, so I'm still good.
When people have that
Maloney like baloney,
that kind of comet rise, real quick rise, they have this self-inflated idea that they're funny.
So he said that he'll always remember us. So we're like the Cavern Club to his current environment, which is like every stadium around the country.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well,
bigger than Billy Graham.
Right, who's now dead, as it turns
Unfortunately.
But by the way, did you guys know I was in a book now? I've got a chapter in a book.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, you spoke about it for 17 minutes last time, but
What?
go ahead,
Okay.
please, remind us.
Yeah, I couldn't remember what show I spoke on about
Okay.
it. You know?
Oh, because he's on so many shows.
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
Just kidding.
Yeah. Okay. A
I
lot of
know
Cobra in here.
another time I wasn't funny.
A lot of Cobra in the Switch. You know what I mean? It's the same kind of
Switch is taking up the mantle.
DNA. Okay, go ahead.
I took the correspondence course.
You're in a book? Is it written
No,
by...
the Cobra's correspondence course. It's not a,
Oh, really?
not a-
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. He's got a lot of things going, Cobra. He's got the goats, he's got the kittens, he's got
Cobra's
the
got
airplane,
it
he's
going
got the
on.
airport.
He does have it going on.
He got the secret missions. So anyway, tell us about your literary success, please, Switchy.
Well, it goes back to Brent Raines, who does Alternate Perceptions magazine,
Yes.
which is a great online magazine. Used to be actually a hard magazine back in the old days, like so many magazines were.
Yes.
And I met him at the Mothman Festival 2015. He was on the hayride. I was giving the tour, of course, to the dreaded TNT area where we see the Mothman, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he asked me afterwards if I'd do an interview. Well, the way he set it up was he wrote out 3 very general questions about, how I got into the paranormal and my feelings about it and so forth. And so he just let me, run with it. So it ended up being about a 4 or 5 part article in his Alternate Perceptions magazine last, October through about January of 2015 and 2016. So anyway, I'd forgotten all about that. So a little while later, Timothy Green Beckley, who you were on his show,
yes.
I don't know, I listened to it not too long ago.
Right.
He asked me if I could provide for him some photographs of the Mothman statue.
Okay.
And so I sent him some. I had some great pictures and the TNT area.
Right.
So he sent me a PDF of the book, and I thought, well, I'm going to check it out to see if my pictures are in there. And sure enough, and so I go back a few pages and I start reading it, and I thought, boy, this sounds familiar. And sure enough, he had taken part of the interview, which applied to the Mothman in Point Pleasant and the festival, and condensed it down. So I actually have a chapter in Weird Winged Weirdos.
Winged Weirdos. Okay, all right.
I think I got that right.
Good name
and I've got good company with Brad Steiger and Paul Eno and Scott Corrales and so forth. So it's kind of a milestone for me. So I really appreciate Tim Beckley and Brent Raines for doing that.
So now that you're a writer, you get groupies coming out of the woodwork?
Well, right now they're imaginary groupies, but soon,
that's all right.
But soon, I think
it starts off at a fantasy world and then works its way up.
It's what's the joke? How dumb was the? Did you hear about the really dumb actress in Hollywood?
No, I didn't.
She slept with the writer. Little inside business talk there. So, well, congratulations to you, Switchy. And it just turns out that this would be the perfect night for an intervention for you. We'll see what Dr. Lira thinks about all this. She's our shrink to the stars, the paranormal stars. So she'll be on. Also, everyone's favorite Emily M. is going to be on tonight talking about a classic UFO, military UFO encounter back in the Viet Nam War. And so that's the really big shoe there, JJ.
That's a good line.
By the way, Mac, can I interject? I actually screwed up the name of the first book I'm in.
Excellent.
So let me regroup here. It's called Weird Winged Wonders: The Twilight World of Cryptid Creatures.
And one actually wrote it down. What did he say? Weird winged weirdos?
Weirdos.
Yeah,
I like weirdos.
I was in the ballpark, but not
I think
actually, after a while, after I have several books under my belt, I'll probably remember the titles of the book.
Did he say books or beers? It sounds more.
I don't know. It's getting pretty cloudy back here now.
So listen. I was going to say, is the picture that you sent to this guy that started this, you catapult into, the literary biz, was it the picture of you in our T-shirt pointing at Mothman's ass?
Well, he asked if I had any pictures of me next to the Mothman statue, and the only ones I had were of course, Mack's T-shirt has the Mack Maloney's Military X-Files on the back.
Yes.
So I have a whole coffee table book full of me looking at stuff with my back to the camera.
Okay.
And people are unable to see my handsome countenance. But I'm not complaining.
Okay.
So I did send him. I sent him the one where I'm looking at it in the front and the one where I'm looking at his posterior in the back, obviously.
Wow.
But those did not make it in there. It was a classic night shot. So I did give it a try.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. You get points for that, believe me.
Oh, good.
Thanks very much. So why don't you just quickly run down, the speaking engagements that you've acquired just in the past month or so? Do you remember them all? Do you have to have your
Well, let's see.
there?
April 15th, there's a spirit fair in Grand Rapids, and I can't recall the name of it offhand, but a very nice lady, Jewel, she a friend of my wife's, and she had me speak there about a year and a half ago.
All right.
At one in Kalamazoo.
That's
and I spoke, it was about 20, 25 minutes on the Mothman.
Okay.
And it was great. It was a small little gathering, but there were some people that showed up just to hear that.
Nice.
And it had some very knowledgeable people there, so that was fun.
That's
and
one.
she puts on a great spirit fair. And then the 28th of April is the Butler Paranormal Weekend in Butler, Pennsylvania.
All right, nice. Yep.
And they always have a nice lineup.
Okay.
And then we jump ahead to September. September 15th. The next Mothman Festival.
Right.
I'll be speaking about John Keel.
Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Yep.
I was, of course, there last year, and Jeff Wamsley was gracious enough to ask me back.
Okay.
And then the following weekend, the 22nd, is the Michigan UFO Convention, which is in Houghton Lake, Michigan.
Okay.
Houghton Lake Resort.
Nice.
Not to be confused with Houghton, which is way up in the Upper Peninsula.
Okay.
This is more kind of central in the state.
Write that down, kids.
And Dick Redfern's going to be there, and a bunch of people. Bill Konkoleski, from Michigan MUFON.
Okay.
And then the next weekend, the Van Meter Visitor Festival. The Van Meter Visitor was a creature, some kind of a strange winged creature that was seen back about 1903, 1906 in Van Meter, Iowa, which is just west of Des Moines.
Okay.
And there's two of the authors that wrote the book were there last year. It's a smaller festival, sort of like the early beginnings of the Mothman Festival.
Right.
But very enthusiastic. They had over 300 people there last year, and it's a really good little festival.
How many people were at the last year's Mothman Festival?
I think it was around 10,000.
10,000 one.
Wow.
And then, what a party. We got to go down
That's
to that.
gotta
I keep
be
saying
freaky.
that, but we got to go down to that. Anyway, okay, go ahead, please. Switch with your itinerary.
That's it so far. There's a long dry period in between April and September, which is fine because I don't want the head. I can barely fit in my car now.
Oh, okay. You have a small car, you mean, or
It's a small car, but still, nevertheless, it still has to work. So.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
Do you have a fan club?
Yet?
Let's see, a fan club. I think I have.
Yeah. What
one,
kind
maybe.
of social media exposure do you have?
Yes.
Maybe that's a improper
Facebook.
use of the term.
You got to get on the web.
Mack Maloney's Military X-Files.
There you go. What more do you need?
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, so Switch. I mean, I he seems to me have to be the same old Switch, but on the other hand, I think that this kind of Coco thing
He's
has got
big
to him as
Switch.
well. So once again, it'll be a good night for the. Wow, holy cow! Was that? We have a bulb blow out
You
there.
almost blew my brains out. there.
We're not doing the Juan-Juan.
What? Mood light.
There you go.
Yeah,
Now
yes.
we're talking.
Okay.
Where's the joss sticks and the candles? Anyway, so Dr. Lira will be coming up, Emily M will be coming up, and Willy Miranda will be coming up. So why don't we do this? Why don't we take a commercial break now, and we'll come right back and we'll start the show. So you're listening to Mack Maloney's Military X-Files show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back after this. Okay, everyone, to Mack Maloney's Military X-Files show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. This is me, Mack Maloney. Well, we have quite a few for you tonight, and but I have to start the segment, contractually speaking, by introducing the posse. Actually, we call ourselves.
I haven't seen the contract. What else is in there?
No, why can't I
So
hear
many
you?
weird things.
One. I can't hear you in my cans. Why? And that's.
I know. I can't hear myself.
That's showbiz talk, folks. 1 2 1 1.
Hello. Pot up mic 2.
Okay, but I don't hear you in my
Hello.
headphones. I hear you studio-wise. Okay, this is exciting. Good way to get the show off. 1 2.
Tell you what.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Do you hear me now?
Yeah.
Your headphones.
I don't know. I can't tell.
See, that's what I'm saying. They're so It's,
Okay.
it's not this. It's got nothing to do with this.
No.
But
Wow. This is so exciting. Radio-wise. 1, 2, 3.
how's that?
I can hear myself. Say something.
But can you hear me?
No. Wow. Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we do the segment? I can hear you, but I can't hear you electronically.
Right.
Okay.
And I'm coming up, though.
You're coming up on the... Yes, you are.
All right.
All right. So anyway, you think after 4 years of doing this, we'd know what we were doing there? Well, what's going on?
Well, it was working earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
What? Okay. Hero has figured it out.
Wait a second.
Okay. If you, oh boy, we got to be a TV show. Because this is friggin' priceless.
There's a 2-mic setup here.
Okay.
And the second mic, which I put over in the corner to get out of my way,
Right.
was plugged into the XLR connection.
Right. Okay.
Now I have a splitter where I could run both of these at the same time.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Wow.
Here we go.
Holy cow. Is it?
Oh,
When we take care of our own hearts, we're also taking care of the people closest to us. So it's comforting to know that RWJ Barnabas Health has New Jersey's most comprehensive cardiac care program, with access to top specialists, minimally invasive heart surgery options, and rehabilitation and wellness programs. So get your heart checked. It's as easy as visiting rwjbh.org/heart. RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
Bye.
we're pegging the needle now. Hold on.
Yep, that sounds
Button.
filthy. But
Pegging the needle.
you're
Okay,
in my
that's the way I look
cans
at it.
now, Juan-Juan.
All right.
As dirty as that sounds, too. Anyway, okay. Wow. Hope you're taking notes out there, kids.
Jeez.
To be a testament. So anyway, Juan-Juan is here now electronically and audibly.
You should be thankful you have me around to do the
Hey,
engineering
listen,
stuff.
I'm thankful that you're around all the time there, Judge. Believe
Okay.
me.
All right. Good.
Yeah, everything okay with you since the last segment?
Who, me?
Yes, yeah.
Um,
Yes, how are you?
I'm still in mourning over the Patriots.
Oh, turn the page.
I haven't. I know. Turn the page.
Turn
I
the
know.
page.
I'm really.
Go to the next job.
I pace the bedroom saying, what was up with Malcolm Butler and why did Tom Brady lose the ball and not protect the ball?
He's
and
yellow.
he's tweeting out pictures of him and his lovely wife Giselle in Costa Rica.
Yeah, she's not that lovely, believe me.
Okay, I know. Tom, I know you're having a great time.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You moved on.
If you have to tell people you're having a great time, are you really having a great time?
No.
Anyway, I'll tell you what.
Good question.
Why don't we welcome in our guest for the segment? A very good friend of ours who has decided to go down the path we have to all the joys and
Going on the dark side.
fabulously wealthy times in radio. Our friend, Willy Miranda, on the phone with us from Leominster, Massachusetts. How you doing there tonight, Willie?
Willie.
I'm doing great, Mac
Good.
and Juan-Juan. How you guys doing?
Good. We're doing fine. Excellent.
You see how
With the exception of my Tom Brady thing.
you see how you stepped on his intro there?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
All right. You sure? All right.
It's Juan-Juan, man. Come on.
It's Juan-Juan. It's Juan-Juan
Thanks,
being
Willie.
Juan-Juan.
Thanks.
There's a T-shirt for you. Juan-Juan being Juan-Juan.
No Commander Cobra tonight, or
He's on a secret mission.
he's on a secret mission.
Secret
Okay.
mission, yeah. Which means he's either out, breaking into some Iraqi nuclear plant, or one of his kittens that to go to the vet or something.
He's on
Oh
a
yeah.
he's on
One
a
of the
commando
goats.
mission.
One of the goats.
He's on a what?
A commando mission.
Yes, commando, yes. But we're going to have fun, despite his absence. We'll
That's
see.
right.
Anyway,
But
so
I'm glad to be on the show tonight.
yeah, glad to have you on. You're a friend of the show, and you and your partner put on one of the best UFO shows I've ever been to. When was that? It seemed like, was it in the fall?
Yeah, it was last October.
Okay, and what was the name of that? What's the official name? Because I used to get the official name wrong.
It's the Greater New England UFO Conference.
Yeah, okay. Had a great list of speakers there.
Yeah.
With my good friend Peter Robbins. And
Top notch.
And
Yeah,
it was
Mike
really good.
Antonio.
Yeah, Mike Antonio put on a great demonstration of where we are in the timeline of the Earth.
The shapeshifters guy.
Yeah, we're like 1/1000 of a thousandth of an inch, and it's like supposed to be 50 miles long or something. Very good. Just everything was good.
Who was the shapeshifters guy?
I believe.
I bought his book. I forgot his name already.
Yeah, a buddy down there in Texas.
Nick Redfern.
Nick Redfern.
Yep, Nick Redfern. Yep.
Okay, super. So that was great, and that's where we kind of we met you before that. We went down to the show, had a great time. I'm pleased to say that they kind of treated us like rock stars there. If you remember.
I'll say.
Well, what can I say? I mean, you guys are rock stars.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the Coke and groupies there, Willie. Thank you very much. Only kidding.
The food truck.
Anytime.
Yes.
Anytime.
Yeah, the food truck was the best food truck ever, man.
Just say, hey, we're with Willie.
Yeah.
Boom.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Snoop Dogs. That was the name of the food truck.
Yeah.
That's right.
Comped by the food truck, man. That is excellent. Anyway.
You're okay.
Yeah, I'm just overcome by how good the food was in the food truck.
Oh no, it was a great speakers, great show, great organization.
Yeah, it was good, and a nice place. I really like that hall. And
Leominster City Hall. Yeah, very beautiful. Yep.
And for people in other parts of the country, when you think of fall, autumn in New England, like a small town autumn, just go there because that's exactly what it looks like.
That's right.
Kind of Norman Rockwell-ish.
It could be a good set for a movie.
Yeah, it would be. It would be.
Yeah, we're very fortunate to have great weather.
That's right.
Yeah. Great weather?
Great setting, great weather.
Okay.
Yes.
And I think it'd be if you were in the movie industry and you'd out
scouting
a location.
Yeah. Yeah, very good. I started watching Stranger Things on Netflix.
How is that? I haven't watched any of it.
Ever see that, Willie?
No, I haven't had the chance. I'm getting around it. I started watching The Punisher.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I want to watch that.
Oh, that
looks really good.
Is that about a Catholic high school? No. I meant to say Catholic elementary school. Okay, I'm sorry. Wow. Hey, check it out on the TV.
I saw that.
Yeah, that was very strange. Anyway, so Willie, now you're going to have an inauguration soon.
Yes.
Tell the people about what you're doing, what you're up to, and why would you want to do it?
Well, I've been wanting to do it for a long time. I originally started wanting to do a podcast, but the more I started getting into it, it was not that I'm afraid of the work, but it's a little time consuming.
Yes.
It's a little time consuming, and so had the opportunity to join KCOR network, digital network, and I got a pretty good time slot, and 9 o'clock Eastern time. So I decided to do it.
On what day? What day is that?
That's going to be on March 2nd, this Friday coming up.
So Fridays at what's the time again?
At 9 o'clock.
Nice.
Yep, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. It's a 1-hour show.
Huh. I think he's our competition. I think that's when we're broadcast on one of our networks.
But we can go head to head with him.
Okay,
That's why we're promoting him on this show.
Yeah, right.
Because we have no fear.
You never know. Yeah, we have no fears, right. Very good, Juan-Juan. Thank you very much for spinning that.
That's too funny.
I like the name of the show too. What's the name of the show?
The name of the show is the Paradigm Matrix.
Paradigm Matrix.
I mean,
okay.
That conjures up all kinds of things.
What are you going to be talking about? I know that that area of Massachusetts there has a history of paranormal events.
I'm going to be talking about of course UFOs, cryptozoology and conspiracies and everything paranormal. And my first guest is going to be Ronnie LeBlanc.
Oh wow, nice. A good get, as they say in the biz.
Yes. Of course, he wrote the book Monsterland. And it's a right in the Leominster State Forest.
Right.
And he wrote a very interesting book.
There's a lot of stories around your neck of the woods in Massachusetts. You're about 2 hours from where we are in Massachusetts, maybe a little less. But just in that general area, you've it has a paranormal past, right?
Oh yes. And of course, Betty Andreasson was born here in Leominster. And remember any of the books, the Andreasson Affair?
Oh yeah, sure.
And her abductions and everything else.
Right.
The old Ray Fowler books.
Yeah. Yeah. I love those books.
So, so there's some there's of course, some mystical things here in Leominster,
Right.
aside Monsterland, but there's been some Bigfoot sightings and things like that.
Just tell the people, in a thumbnail version, what Monsterland is all about.
Well, Monsterland is a parcel of land in near the Leominster State Forest, and for many, many years, even to the colonial times, there's been reports of big hairy men, described these days as probably Bigfoot, and orange orbs.
I hope it was Bigfoot.
Yeah.
So do I, and things of that nature.
Okay.
So, of course, back then, back in the 1700s, the way the colonials would probably punish their kids would be like, behave or we'll send you out to Monsterland.
Oh,
so
wow.
That's how it's got its name.
Yeah, wow. It'd be a really good name for a
That's
club.
a creep show.
A dance club. Wouldn't it? Monsterland? Wouldn't that be really good?
Yep.
Anyway, so how far are you from Bridgewater, Mass?
I'm probably about maybe about an hour away.
Okay.
I would say.
All right. Because that's also, the Bridgewater Triangle is also a very freaky place. And
Oh, yes.
Is there a state hospital there, or once was, or something? Am I thinking of?
Yep.
Am I right?
I
Bridgewater?
believe there was also another.
Oh, the Bridgewater State Hospital, yeah.
Yep.
But people see the Bridgewater Triangle. Remember at one point we talked about doing the show from there?
Yeah.
We couldn't get the van or something. But people see all kinds of stuff there. I mean, and not just, they see Bigfoot, they see ghosts.
Yep.
They see like kind of lost kids, which is kind of creepy. And
It's almost like a convention of
yeah, like a
paranormal activity.
Yeah, maybe it's a club. Who
Yeah.
knows? And
They meet there every year.
They meet there every year. It happens to be Halloween.
right.
But people have seen like pterodactyls and stuff flying over. I mean, it's like really crazy seeing
Well, that is
dinosaurs
true.
and stuff.
That is
so
true.
It brings us back to the thing that we talk about a lot on the show is, are these things, number one, are UFOs and monsters and pterodactyls and Bigfoot, are they all part of the same thing, the unified theory of the paranormal? Or
Well, I believe, like Paulino, that these things are related.
Yes, right,
I believe,
yeah.
we Mack and Juan-Juan, we live in a paranormal world. A lot of people will try to deny it, but
we do.
we live in a paranormal world.
Yeah, or we try and sanitize the paranormal world into something really benign, and
You know that bar right near me there on Plum Island, the Beachcomber? Juan-Juan, you been there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love it.
Go there on a Saturday night,
Yeah.
and you'll be convinced it's paranormal. We live in a paranormal world. Yeah. And I'm not kidding you, man.
It's a beach crowd. Come on.
That's exactly what I mean. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll have to do that.
We're sitting there one night, and a guy walks in, and he looks, and he's dressed exactly like Jesus, just like Jesus Christ, with the, that picture you see of Jesus. He's got the white with the white long
right.
thing, with the belt,
Yep.
the sandals.
How long was his beard?
The perfect Jesus
Okay,
beard,
yep.
swimmer's body, as they talk about
man.
Jesus. He's in shape, and he sits
works
down and
out.
Sounds
going
like the
on here?
Family Guy. Sounds
Yeah.
like the Family Guy Jesus.
It was like that, yeah.
geez.
It was crazy, man. It's crazy. It turned out he was just working out his costume for the Halloween party, which was about 5.5 months
What a
away.
weird crowd
Yeah,
there
that's baby.
around there.
And during the summer, you get the beach crowd, so you go in there, and there's just lots of girls in bikinis and stuff. It's a real beach
Sure.
bar.
Yeah.
But in the dead of winter, boy, that's when it's really freaky.
It's a freak show.
Yeah. Anyway, the beach come Plum Island.
Well, only weirdos would want to be around
Tell
there
them
during the
Max
winter.
sent you. Anyway, so
You get a discount. They say Max
maybe
sent
you never know. Hey, listen, there's nothing to. We tip them a lot because we go there for dinner, just eat something at the bar and something nice, Lois.
And they work hard.
Yeah, and then they're good, and then they get to know you and stuff, which is good. So the drink is waiting for you, and you tip them good. And then when you ask them for a shot of Jack Daniels or something, they give you it in a beer glass. Excellent. Willie, did you grow up in Leominster?
I actually moved out here in 1985.
Okay.
I actually grew up in a little bit in the Merrimack Valley area.
Oh, whereabouts? That's where we're from.
Yeah, I lived in Haverhill, Lawrence.
Me too.
There you go.
Lowell,
That's my
Thorn.
geography, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Route 110.
Yeah.
Yep. I lived in Haverhill and went to Lawrence every other Saturday night.
Well, I lived in Chelmsford and hung around in Lowell.
Yeah, there you
Wow.
go. All right, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're
Yep.
from the same general area. That's good.
That's right.
So
Yeah,
now,
there are missiles targeting my area right now, probably.
we used to, yeah.
He said Lowell. Ooh.
Lowell. Yeah, as it turns out, we used to go to Lawrence for one thing and Lowell for another thing.
Yeah.
As college kids.
Certain regulations were like lax in certain towns.
Yeah,
Like,
oh yeah.
Lowell was lax.
Lowell
like
was
that.
very lax when
Yeah.
it comes to stuff that was illegal back then.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
true.
back in the day.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway,
Surprising.
so how long is the podcast? An hour, 2 hours?
It's a live show, so it's going to be 1 hour.
Okay, cool.
And it will get archived, so it'll be free, archived for free.
Excellent. And the name again is?
The name of the show is The Paradigm Matrix
Okay.
with Willy Miranda.
And we want to keep reminding people it's on 9 o'clock, Friday nights, Eastern Time Zone.
That's correct.
Yes.
Yep.
And
And-
KCOR Digital Radio Network.
KCOR. Okay.
Yep,
I've been on that a
KCOR.
number of times. They're really a very professional outfit, those people.
Oh yeah, they are.
So you're
They
with a
are.
great
I just
gang.
approved the radio imaging,
Mm-hmm. Right.
so it was outstanding.
Now, Willie, I'm just wondering, I'm not hurt or offended or anything, but, remember Juan-Juan and I suggested a name for your show? The
Yeah, that's
Miranda
right.
Warning?
Yeah.
that's right, the Miranda warning.
Yeah,
But
okay.
I just couldn't.
We know it by
I,
heart, as it turns out,
Oh,
if you
yeah.
need us.
I love the name, but I really wanted to get the. I really want to get the domain name,
Yes, sure, yeah.
and I just
Yeah.
couldn't tie it in.
That's a
you
good
know?
idea.
Yes,
Yeah, without the domain name, I couldn't make it mine.
make it
you know?
work.
Right.
Yeah. So
So-
are you nervous about doing this endeavor? Are you nervous?
A little bit, a
Mhm.
little bit. We discussed over last year, as a matter of fact. Well, not last year, but in October when we
Yes.
were at the conference. I was, oh Jesus, I hate how I sound. I hate the sound of my voice.
Everybody hates the sound of their own
Yeah,
voice.
So
I don't
it's,
care for my
it's a little
voice.
thing to get over.
Yep.
Yep.
But other than that, I get some butterflies. But Fridays,
Yep.
you're gonna go on live, and I'm gonna try to break a leg.
Well,
Oh, so your first show is this coming Friday?
Yes.
Okay.
that'd be interesting to break a leg on the radio.
Wow.
That'd be a first. You know what? You should too, Willie. When we started this, Pete Falcone, who was the owner of the vast Falcone Entertainment Empire, part of which is the studio we're in right now, WXEX.
Mhm.
Is it
W-
WXEX?
WXEX.
Wow, it sounds just
Say
so
that fast.
X-rated, man.
I know.
Oh, it
Anyway.
does.
W-
gave us
lots
the-
of X's in there.
He gave us the best piece of advice possible. If you have butterflies, if you're a little bit nervous going on the radio, remember what he said, Woman?
Make believe everybody's naked?
No. He
What?
said, get drunk.
Oh,
Get drunk.
Okay.
Go to the refrigerator. There's beer in
We
there.
do not advocate that.
What did you say? Look, everyone's naked?
Yeah, that's when you're giving public speeches.
Oh, okay.
Make
As
believe
a matter of
everybody's
fact, I
naked.
got some Puerto Rican moonshine upstairs.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Hang on. Now, let's discuss that for a second, okay? We'll cut into Switch's segment. So what is that exactly?
It's called pitorro, and pitorro is basically a illegal drink in Puerto Rico. It's basically like moonshine. What they would do is they would take the rum.
Petrolo. That sounds like the root word petroleum. Meaning
Yeah,
it's like
that's
gasoline.
gasoline. Go ahead,
But it's
Ed.
got that pitorro. You gotta
Yeah.
roll the R's.
Petrolo.
And,
Petrolo.
pitorro.
Okay, go ahead. They
Got
take
it.
the
And what
rum.
they would do is take the rum, and then they would put fruits in it
Mm-hmm.
to ferment it. They would put sugar cane, papaya,
It's a health
maybe
food.
slices of mango,
Taking this down. Go ahead.
and just make it ferment, and just make it stronger. And they would bury it.
Oh, wow.
And they would come back, and let me tell you what a concoction
Really?
that stuff is.
How long would you bury it for?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I do know that it's got some
Powerful
it's got some
kick to it.
some serious kick to it.
So is it clear or does it look like red wine or something?
Some of it's clear. This one's made out of I believe this one's made out of mango.
Nice.
So it's got that mango color. It's in a real nice bottle with a cork on it.
That's the second time in 2 weeks the mention of mango came up, because the last show we did, Merrill Feinhauser was telling us, Merrill Feinhauser, the rock star,
Yep.
told us that he grew some
Mango trees.
marijuana when he lived in Hawaii, and he grew a special kind of pot where he would fertilize it with mango
Yeah.
and pineapple, and I think he said sugarcane as well. And it tastes like juicy fruit pot, and they called it Maui Wowie.
Yeah.
Wowie, wowie.
And he was at a party once with name dropping. He was at a party with John Lennon, and he gives Lennon the joint. And Lennon goes, I wish I could do a London accent. What is this? What is this? Can't do it. And then he wouldn't give the joint to the woman next to him. He broke out of the thing. John Lennon broke out your joint. That's good. So anyway, now we're talking about
talk about homegrown.
Yeah, really. Go ahead, please.
So I'll tell you what. I got this bottle for Christmas, and I got it from Puerto Rico. So my mother-in-law brought it from Puerto Rico when she came down a couple of months ago. So I'll keep it like this until I pay a visit to the studio up there in Exeter.
Oh, right. Great. Okay. All right. We'll have to take Yuba home that night.
He's the man.
By the way.
Yes.
By the way, the table that I got my studio on, my equipment on is made out of mango tree.
Nice. Wow.
It's a very versatile tree.
Mango vibe is really happening here tonight.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Didn't Pedro Martinez live under a mango tree?
Yes.
Something like that?
Well, probably did.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I grew up on mangoes myself when I lived in the island.
You know what? I don't think I've ever had a mango, to tell you the truth. What is it? It's kind of like pineapple in a way, isn't it?
Oh, no. It's very sweet, but in the middle it's got a big seed, and it's very... would you say it? It's very, very kind of tacky,
okay. All right.
What a matchup!
And what a team, Mike. Metro PCS and the iPhone SE for $0 on a network that covers 99% of people in the U.S. Oh, impressive.
Play with the best. Switch to Metro PCS on an unlimited LTE plan and get a 32-gig iPhone SE for $0. Metro PCS. Coverage not available in some areas, plus sales tax. Claim based on talk and text. Not valid for active numbers currently on the T-Mobile network or active on Metro PCS in the past 90 days. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful fruit.
Isn't that the fruit that on the Seinfeld show they say it kind of works like nature's Viagra? The mango.
That was probably passion fruit.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Could be passion fruit. Yeah.
Great. Been eating the wrong kind of fruit for years now. It turns out.
I think fruit with a big pit in it.
As a matter of fact,
awesome.
I think that drink that I got upstairs is passion fruit, not mango.
Really?
I think it is passion fruit.
Even better. Okay.
Even better.
Well, Willie, just give the people the name of your show again and when it's going to be on.
The name of the show is The Paradigm Matrix with your host, Willy Miranda, and it'll be on Friday nights from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. on the KCOR
Radio Network.
Digital Radio Network.
So KCOR, 9 o'clock Friday night. Okay, and he's going live.
It's live, I know.
Without a net, as they say in the biz.
Without a net, without a safety net.
Wow.
Who's got the dump button responsibility?
You got a dump button?
My producer.
Is that
Tina?
Tina?
Tina.
Yeah. Oh, she's
Tina Marie.
She's really good.
She's from up here in Western Mass.
Oh, I don't know that.
Not too far from here. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've been on the network a couple of times, and she's I've told her before she's got she's the best producer I've run into because she's got it all going on. You wouldn't believe it.
What do you mean by that?
Counting down to the commercials and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
And, yeah, really. She really knows what she's doing.
She knows how to hit the brakes or hit the network right on.
Yep.
Yeah, she's a total professional.
Well, listen, Willie, we're going to give you a round of applause. Imagine that's about 100 people clapping.
Congratulations on the show. We're looking forward to seeing you.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys are the best, man. You guys are the best. You know that.
No, you're the best.
Friend of the show, Willy Miranda, 9 o'clock Friday nights on KCOR. Okay? And it'll be archived so you can listen to it if you missed the live show. Thanks, Willie. We'll talk to you soon, my friend. Okay?
Thank you, and God bless you guys. Take care.
Okay, brother.
Thank
See you later.
Same to you, pal.
See you later.
Bye, Willie.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He really kind of took us under his wing when we went to that UFO show.
He's got a great personality. It's very, very loosey-goosey.
Yeah. I want to get some of that.
I think it's that Latin flavor or something.
Yes, right. Passion fruit, mango-flavored Puerto Rican moonshine. Okay, you ready for that?
Yeah.
JJ?
Yeah.
If we could get some Maui Wowie and just combine them, just think of that. The kind of shit.
That would be nice.
Yeah. And it's all legal these days, which is
that's what cracks me up. I never thought I'd see that day.
It's really strange. It's really strange that marijuana is legal now, because growing up as a kid, if you happen to indulge, half the fun was trying to do it and not get caught by the cops.
Oh man, it was just the gyrations you went through.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
To keep it secret.
Right. But anyway, no longer. So
I'm wondering if the parents of the day would still bug you about smoking it, even if it was legal back then. Because I think the parents were more concerned with the legality, not so much about it's evil to smoke.
Right. Yeah. I think really, to tell you the truth, that I think a lot of parents these days probably at one point probably had an opportunity to smoke it at some point. I know, like if this
don't
happened,
do what I do what I say.
Yeah, if this happened in 65 or 66 and became legal, and my
Could
parents,
you imagine?
no way, no friggin' way would they let me do it. So
maybe the love generation could have been extended, maybe another 6 months or something.
Yeah, the love generation, the 60s. There's two great quotes about the 60s. First of all, when people refer to the 60s, they're actually talking about the 70s, because all that stuff really happened in the early 70s, and it peaked around 72 or 73. It really did. Okay.
It started though about 68, 69.
Yeah, it started for my timeline, my frame of reference. It started in '67 with Sergeant Pepper. As weird as it seems,
well,
everything kind of changed after.
You're
that,
right. I mean, 67 wasn't really the definition of the summer of love.
Summer of love, yeah, you ain't kidding, right?
And if you look up on the internet, the great albums of 1967, it's just all over the place with the Beatles, the Doors, and you name it. Great albums, great music. It epitomized the whole era.
In '67, this is really going down memory lane here. Juan-Juan, you'll appreciate this. I was going out with a girl from Chelsea.
I can appreciate it.
You can tell the laugh.
Did you have bodyguards too?
No. Well, no. That doesn't mean I didn't need them, Anyway, and she went away. We started going out. She was beautiful, of course, beautiful blonde. And she went away into Marshfield, Mass, that you know, okay?
Sure.
And there's a bay in Marshfield in Duxbury, just this huge bay. And she told me once, she said that she was like sitting on the beach and she could hear purple haze coming across this bay, and everyone could hear it, just like acoustics or whatever. And, that Sgt. Pepper's and the Doors, that was like the music of that whole summer. Everything you heard on the radio was just great, And it isn't like that these days. It sounds like we're going old fogies going down memory lane, but it was a lot of fun back then. It was just a lot of fun, a lot of good music.
I've been focusing in on some of my radio listening to some of these custom radio stations on the web. That one of them is called Boomer Radio.
Okay, yeah.
And they have a channel that's all like Beatles, Stones, the Doors, Cream.
Yep.
Moby Grape.
Yeah, Moby Grape. Wow. Okay. How about Blue Cheer?
Blue Cheer. I heard the Blues Project.
Yeah, nice.
Cooper, Stills, and Super Sessions.
Yeah, Super Session. Mike Bloomfield and
Al Cooper and Stephen Stills.
Yep. Wow.
Paul Butterfield Blues Band.
Yep. Okay. I told you my Paul Butterfield story, right?
Yes.
Should I tell it again real quick?
Sure.
My neighbor used to be the bass player in Paul Butterfield's band. Okay. Went on tour with him. The first time we went on tour with him, at the end of the tour, Paul Butterfield said to him, "I like you." And Tony, my friend Tony, was the only guy in the band that Paul Butterfield hadn't stabbed. So he said, "Oh, you must like me, because he hadn't stabbed him anyway." But a great musician, great blues musician.
Definitely.
It's funny. I don't know. Maybe it'd be hard to think about, this kind of musical renaissance that happened in '67 because everything just sounded good and new and different, fresh, and psychedelic.
It was like it was a very sharp demarcation line between pre-'67. I mean, there's stuff in.
It's good.
And with the exception of Beatles and Stones, a lot of the other stuff is kind of meh.
Yeah. Yep. Rolling Stones, you're talking about.
Yeah. So.
But everything kind of
changed.
And then
boom, all of a sudden.
Everything.
Production values just went through the roof.
Yep. Yeah.
Things got really hippy-dippy and.
Yep. A lot more instrumentations in songs. Usually it was just kind of like singing, and you could barely hear the background. But all of a sudden, boom, the music is right up there.
Music is right up there. A Lots of overdubbing, lots of and Indian influences, and George Harrison kind of kicked that off.
Creative stuff. So anyway, so you're going down memory lane with Juan-Juan and Mack.
Oh, man, good stuff.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we take a commercial break now, and we'll be right back after this. Listen to our friend Willy Miranda, Friday nights, 9 p.m., KCOR, the Paradigm Matrix, okay, with Willy Miranda. So we'll be right back after this. Stay tuned. We went to Mack Maloney's Military X-Files show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. This is Mack Maloney. We're in the middle of a very big shoe.
It's huge.
Okay, it is huge. Okay, it's like the old lady. It's so big the old lady could live in it.
It's so big it's going to be a float on the Macy's Parade.
Very good. Very good, woman. Anyway, so I wonder if people realize that I'm doing an impression of Ed Sullivan when I say really big shoe.
They probably have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, all right. Believe me, it's funny, right? So the very famous Juan-Juan is here, girls.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. He's still a little.
How many
down.
shows in a row?
5.
Yep.
Still a little down.
With the number on my
I don't
head.
see the real Juan-Juan yet.
There isn't a spring to my step yet.
No, not yet.
I'm still recovering from a terrible Super Bowl
Patriots lost.
finishing score.
Right. Yep. Awful. Okay.
I thought it was a typo when I saw it on the screen.
Really? Yeah.
I thought it was electronic malfunction when I saw it in
You
the
were
stadium.
that detached. Okay. All right. Well, that might be another show.
I thought I was having a brain hemorrhage when I saw Tom Brady lose the football.
There you go. You know. I told you he was yellow. He didn't want to get himself hurt.
God.
Anyway, that's so long ago. That's so.
He was in the middle of it. He just got a hand just came in and somebody missed their block.
Yeah. Okay.
A hand came in, boom.
Yeah. All right.
While he was throwing it.
Right. Right. Yeah. Anyway. Okay.
So don't give me any crap.
That's so February. You know what I mean? That's so last February.
Yeah, so February.
Anyway, so Coco is not with us tonight. You should be a little down about that. You know what I mean? We should be understated tonight because Coco is with us.
I feel less secure without Cobra around.
Yeah, you know, with that gun battle. Yeah, what am I talking about? You know, he
would have been up there investigating it.
He'd say, "Come on, let's open up my trunk. Let's see what I got." You know, like mortars and bazookas and stuff. He's always well armed. If I was near a gun battle, I'd want him to be here. Right?
Absolutely.
What are we going to do?
He's like Spider-Man. He's everywhere.
Run. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so Juan, when you are here in spirit, Coco is not here, so taking his place, the man on the way up, Switchblade Steve Ward, up there in Battle Creek, Michigan. How you doing there tonight, Switchy?
Very good. You see, one door closes, Cobra can't be here, another door opens.
Okay. Absolutely.
I actually saw that quote.
And Switch is walking through it.
The other day. The real quote is, when a door closes, a window opens. Do you know that?
Yes.
I saw that on Stranger Things, so it must be right. Switch, how are things up there in Battle Creek?
A nice, mild day today. You know, we got rid of... there was a couple times when I was literally wearing 3 shirts at a time.
Wow.
It was so bloody cold. I was literally 3 shirts to the wind.
Wow. Let's see.
Good one.
I think that's going to be...
Oh, come on. How about rim shot?
No, see, he doesn't want me as part-time co-host. He doesn't want me to get too big a
Fire
head on
the
this
special
and
effects
expect
guy
it every week. He doesn't want me to sabotage, a Cobra, so that he can't come on sometimes so that I can fill in.
Right. Okay, that's exactly right. Boy, he's really into the politics of the show.
He is. He's got it on track. I think Cobra doesn't need any help.
Now, I want to say this, then I want to get to our guest because Switchblade is sitting in for the Kobe tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the big news I saw out of Battle Creek just recently, just within the last 2 or 3 days, that Frosted Flakes are coming out, chocolate-flavored Frosted Flakes.
Yeah, I'm not digging that. I'm not looking forward to that.
I don't think so. All I could think is, what took you so long? You should have did that back in the 60s.
Yeah. I mean, Cocoa Puffs didn't do it for me.
You're not a Cocoa Puff man?
No.
Okay, interesting.
Never was.
No, really? Okay. All right. I'm going to get one box. I'm going to see what they taste like. Just like I did with Batman cereal. Just like I did with Flintstone cereal.
I'm boring. I was a plain old cornflakes guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Raisin Bran.
What about Frankenberry?
Wheaties.
Frankenberry also. Boy, if you need a boost
I didn't
in
like
water,
any of those
eat a
super
bowl of
sugared
those.
things, even though there's sugar in plenty of the other products.
That's why the kids, of our generation were all insane.
That's right. That's why we messed up.
Filled with sugar. Anyway.
That's why we long for 1967 all
Yes,
the time.
right.
Like I do. Oh,
the
it was so much more
was-
fun, so much more peaceful, so loving.
The other
Not with the one you love the one you're with.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
That
that was our
lasts too
mantra.
long. But, and the second thing about the 60s is if you remember the 60s.
You didn't live it.
You didn't live it.
That's right. You were out of town.
Exactly. So, anyway. There's someone here now with us who probably sort all this out because I see
I
a
hope
lot
so.
of egos going on here, especially when you go down memory lane. You're just trying to talk about yourself. Our favorite guest in the top 2, easily, right? Our favorite, at least favorite West Coast guest, Dr. Lira, our shrink, is on the line. How you doing there
Dr.
tonight?
Lyra, hi.
Doc.
I'm good, thank
Hi.
you.
Okay, all right. Switch, you know that Dr. Lira is here with us?
Yeah, I said hi, but I kind of said at the same time
All
as
right.
everybody else.
Okay.
So you didn't hear me say hi.
6 months
But
ago.
I heard you. This was great.
6 months ago, we needed an intervention, and Dr. Lira was there for us. She helped us.
Yes.
When our egos got a little bit out of whack, let's say, she's the one who brought us down, and we've been different people since. I'm not kidding.
I think I noticed that. If I go back that many months, I think I do
Can you
think
tell
I
the
noticed a
difference?
change.
Switch, can you tell, what we're just a lot more what?
A lot more.
Okay, thank you very much.
Less.
Okay, if it comes to you, let us know.
Less full of yourselves.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's
Thank you.
my attempt was to make you more loving towards your egos.
I think that's exactly what happened, right? Which
Good.
led to a couple complaints here at the station. But no,
I think I'm already in love with my ego.
you think? Hey,
I
really?
do,
Yeah.
Really. I got some stories. Yeah.
Yeah. You're in love with yourself, in other words.
That's right.
Okay. I'm having an affair with my super id. Is that what they call it? With the id and the what is it?
Id.
It's id.
Yes.
And then there's the super ego.
And it translates into having like really loving relationships around you as well, because it all begins with yourself, the love for yourself. And then, we actually talked here with Steve about projections, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
In context of paranormal, but it all begins from this, you loving your ego and then not being afraid of intimacy with others. It's very interesting.
I am totally on board with that. That's how I live my life day after day.
Right. And believe me, he's not
My
kidding.
poor wife would say, "Are you in love with yourself? Or how come you don't have a picture on your wall of yourself?"
And you do, don't you?
I do. Damn.
Oh, wow.
She
Yikes.
finds everything.
Well, strut your stuff, as the kids say. Juan-Juan. Well, why don't we start at the beginning by telling the audience out there who might not know that at one point Dr. Lira was a newscaster in
Estonia.
Okay, all right. And she's, how can I say this, in this age of, what's his name? Harvey Feinstein, okay?
Sheesh.
You still have that newsgirl look.
Oh,
How
my
about that?
God.
Is that nice?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was. It wasn't. It was actually 90s in Estonia and Russia. I mean, probably even more exciting than Weinstein. Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Yeah. Wow. Well, you look like a newscaster. I'm really into
You can bet
newscasters,
Russia have higher moral standards than we have over here.
Do you think do you think they keep their eye on you for some reason?
I don't think so.
No. Okay.
But who knows? Who
Who knows? These days you can keep their eye on everybody, so why not? But so anyway, and now you're out in California. What part of California do you live in? I forget.
I'm in Walnut Creek Bay area of San Francisco, so we have sunny California.
Yeah.
We have beautiful blossoms, and we do have snow on the mountains right now that I'm looking at. That means it's rained, which is a good thing. Otherwise,
Excellent.
it's been dry and warm.
Wow. So is San Francisco, I've never been there, but is it as groovy as everyone says it is?
It is. Yes, it is.
It's very
Yes.
cosmopolitan.
Yeah.
It's like 60s. Never. It's all the same.
They're still there, yeah, okay.
It's still there.
Is
Still
Haight
hot.
Ashbury, did they
Haight Ashbury is still there, but it's not like you
gentrified.
think. It's not like a Grateful Dead era stuff.
right, yeah, okay.
But
Yeah,
I enjoyed being down. I used to live in Pleasanton, Dr. Lira.
Oh,
so you were close by.
Yeah. I had a customer in Walnut Creek. I think Pacific Bell, I think, was located in Walnut Creek.
So I'll tell you what.
One of my clients.
Why don't we get right to the our second session, actually our third session, on the couch with Dr. Lira. Now, first of all, let's start with our missing member, Commander Cobra. He knew this was coming up. Do you see any kind of a, what do you call that, passive aggressiveness in him? Of all the shows to miss, this is the show. This is the first show he's missed in like a year and a half.
Yeah.
What do you think, Dr. Lira?
Well, he might be protecting himself from some interesting realizations.
I think he is hiding something. I think that he didn't want to display his feelings on here tonight.
Yep, he's been under a lot of pressure to be top dog all the time, and just sometimes just can't put on that uniform.
You run out of breath.
Yeah.
You know? Yep. Sometimes you can't put on the uniform. Well said there, Juan.
Sometimes he has to run up against me and my mysterious ways, but towards him, I am jealous of him still. Always have been.
Dr. Larry, I hope we don't unravel 8 months of progress here. Anyway, so back then, when we went through our Beatle moment there, our White Album moment.
Hey, I just bought the White Album. I bought the
really?
180 gram remaster.
Someone called me on the phone today, and they said,
Vinyl.
You know what? She said, you know what all my nieces and especially nieces want? Freaking record players.
Yeah.
Record players and buy. She said,
get a good one, though. Don't get one of those crappy ones that they're selling at Barnes & Noble.
No, but now they say that you can really get a nice turntable and everything just sounds excellent.
Yeah.
And people are into vinyl again. Anyway, so, yeah, I think that Cobra probably trying to hide his feelings, doesn't want to, he would thought maybe that, he'd be caught off guard and actually, reveal something to us or whatever. That's my thought. What do you think there, JJ?
I'm on board with it because it's sometimes he has that strong barrier, but you can break it down a little bit. You got to find a sweet spot, the soft target of
get a couple of drinks in him, I think. It accomplishes the same thing. So, Juan-Juan, of course, you are still the action man. I do think that you're now comfortable with your ego. Can I say that?
I might be too comfortable, but I do like to flaunt my ego everywhere I go.
Huh. Okay.
Honest, yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah, my wife notices that.
Okay. All right. Well.
Says, you're all about yourself.
Huh. Please, continue. I got to get a box of tissue.
What a matchup!
And what a tea, Mike. Metro PCS and the iPhone SE for $0 on a network that covers 99% of people in the U.S. Oh, impressive.
Play with the best. Switch to Metro PCS on an unlimited LTE plan and get a 32-gig iPhone SE for $0. Metro PCS. Coverage not available in some areas, plus sales tax. Claim based on talk and text. Not valid for active numbers currently on the T-Mobile network or active on Metro PCS in the past 90 days. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Choose here from.
You're always talking about yourself. You do that with your customers? I said, no, they talk about me enough.
Oh,
I don't really have to talk about myself there.
Material in the middle of this.
Yeah.
Okay. Very interesting, Juan-Juan. But you seem like you put a lot of thought into this.
It becomes the master of you.
Oh, really?
That ego, yeah. And if you train that ego properly, you can live in harmony with it.
Oh, wow. How's that sound, Dr. Lara? Sounds about right.
Yes, this is exactly what I teach. You should train your ego. Train your ego.
Exactly.
You don't have to feel it. There's nobody, it's not even possible. If you think about human part, everybody's going to have an ego. Just one decision.
I'm in your classroom, baby.
Yeah, that's right.
Just to prove your words are right, he's literally patting himself on the back.
That's right.
That's
good.
Wow.
That's good.
That's good. It's healthy to want. Good for you. Yikes. So, let's get the switch because I'm just the same old dull foundation man, wasn't that?
You are.
I couldn't even put that on a T-shirt. Never mind wear a cape. So
you're like the redwood trees up in California.
Really?
You're just counting them rings and just standing there forever.
Yeah. You know what? I still remember 3 or 4 weeks ago you said that I had a scraggly beard. You remember you saying that?
I did.
I haven't recovered from that yet. This is not a scraggly beard.
It's very well trimmed now, yeah.
But it wasn't that night?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, you might have looked a little bit like Charles Manson.
Makes
back
sense.
then,
Hey, that was the look I was going for. I mean, my family. Anyway. All right, this is getting crazy. Let's go to Switch. Now, you know that he's been with us for at least 2 years. He calls in faithfully every week. with a great report. People
When he
really,
can squeeze us in.
people no sometimes, but he realizes in the biz, he comes at the end of the show. He's like the cleanup hitter, and sometimes we run out of.
Oh yeah.
He
hits a grand slam all the time.
Okay, let me write that down. He might be harboring some negativity on that point. And just suddenly, he is now in demand as a speaker. At
He's a
different
rock
UFO
star. He's everywhere.
engagements. He was just published in
Book tours.
Book tours coming up. We get a lot of reaction to his segments on the radio, and it all seemed to happen, kind of hit all at the same time.
Next thing you know, he'll be on Ellen DeGeneres' show.
Yes, right. Wouldn't that be a?
No, wait a minute. I got to stop you. You said I get a lot of reaction from my presentations on the radio.
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, not really, but I'm just telling you that.
You spiked my ego a little bit.
Okay, that's right. No, well, a lot of people they love Switch. They love Switch, and they
we're
love.
going to
Switch.
order from Amazon the Switchblade meter.
See which
that,
way? Yeah,
with the adulation gauge.
all right.
Seriously, it is
Big
good
words.
to get some positive feedback. That's good.
Okay. So, Dr. Lira, and that just little burst of energy from Switch, what do you think? Can you analyze them from that little?
Yeah.
We've lost it.
Okay, go ahead.
We're losing our minds.
Why don't we put it this way? What should he expect? How should he kind of handle this climb to fame that he's on?
I think the good decision he can make for himself to be at ease with all the fame that is coming is whether it is personal or is it not personal. And I think you begin with, this is not personal, I'm just doing my job. But then you will, the more you play, the more you become comfortable with your success, the more you're going to say everything that is happening around me is personal. So for most people, they think this is super egocentric, but it is actually a state of a very evolved soul, I would say.
Oh, there's another
an evolved soul.
Another feather in his cap. He's an evolved soul. I don't remember that coming up in our intervention there, JJ.
Well, she didn't use the term evolving. We're learning.
Oh, okay. All right.
Learning mode.
Okay. Just like monkeys.
Learn about yourself.
Okay. Anyway. So how is it? Isn't it best? It seems like to me to kind of get this thing under control now before he's suddenly at switch after dark and all that stuff.
Well, you would see how. I mean, he needs to first kind of feel into, and I know I invite you always to feel into things, and we were laughing about that
Yes,
with the feeling man and all of these things.
Oh, right, yes.
But if you feel
who wouldn't laugh
into
at that?
a fame, if you feel into how comfortable you are with what is going on, this is the time to then ask yourself, okay, I must have been very detached from all of this. So now it's the good time to become attached again. And this is the kind of a way that you entertain yourself on your way and in your life in fame, if you want.
Right. Why are all celebrities, not all celebrities, but boy, a lot of them are really kind of messed up. Is it because they need constant reinforcement, constant praise?
It's like an infection. It's like, everybody's going out of their minds lately.
Yes.
And then you'll see them do stupid things, thinking, I have to get in the news. I have to do something,
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to make sure I don't end up in the tabloids.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's half of them. That's how their careers are made. You kidding? They call those people and they tell them where they're going to be, what they're going to be doing. Believe me, it's a racket. And if you work it right, you can get very famous and not have to do anything. Like Angela Jolie. When's the last time she was in a movie? For God's sakes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, but she's out there. Jennifer Aniston. Well, really, but they're always out there, and that helps, if you want to play that game. But if you get in the tabloids that you will have constant attention. It might not all be good.
There's only a few actors that never really got that tabloid bug or in that accidental highway is like Jodie Foster.
Right.
You never read anything about Jodie Foster.
But you can keep it quiet if you want. You never read anything bad about Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Who knows what he's doing, but he has managed to keep it out of the media.
Meryl Streep is never written about. I love Meryl Streep. And
I hear that she's a total. Which would it be, though?
Really?
Yeah. I know people who worked with her. Anyway, Dr. Lira.
You know people who worked with her?
Yes, I do. And she's not as, you know what I mean. She's
not cool?
She's not cool.
All right.
She's not cool.
I don't know these people personally.
Yeah.
I'm just saying we're talking about them being in the tabloids doing things, and
Right.
you never read about her.
Right, right.
Not even on like the Daily Star UK newspaper, whatever it is.
That it just shows you that all the other people who are in there, their publicists are calling those people and begging to get in there.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if John Travolta is begging to get in there. You know, but are they getting people who are giving the pieces of information on him and stuff like that, or him, or whoever?
Yeah.
You know? So anyway, hey, Dr. Lira, when you were a news celebrity over there, did you have people like hitting on you all the time and sending you letters and all that jazz?
Yeah, send you letters. I mean, now I receive letters, and we were laughing about it, right? Receive all sorts of proposals and things like
Proposals.
that.
Wow, proposals.
Yes, all sorts of things.
How about some checks in the mail saying, "Don't report me"?
No.
Please, I'm begging you.
That'd be wrong. So, really, what does your hubby think about that? The lucky guy.
Well, actually, we never discussed that. It's just, it's like, and this is when it's for me, it's to understand when is it not personal at all, right? This is, again, people want sometimes to look up to somebody and believe, like the way that people talk about even celebrities, they say, they basically project all that love, all that things that they want to be onto somebody else, right? And if you're willing to be that person without getting into it in your head that you are actually the god, right? You'll be fine, So This is how I handle it. It's like, it's not really
You taking this all in there, Switchy?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. All right. He already sounds slightly different, doesn't he? Sounds a little less inflated.
He's picking it up already.
So, Dr. Lira, how else? Let's see. How can we? How about you said that you have a number of clients, obviously, who come to you. Can you tell us, without giving away any names, what's the strangest thing someone has come to you to help them get over or figure out?
Just thinking. I mean, most of the situations are pretty strange because it's the crises. It's people who are typically experiencing like a big fall in everything, laid off jobs, losing family, like really, health problems, like everything all at once.
Right.
And for me, this is the sign that you should be definitely working with me, because I'm working on a spiritual awakening. And I understand that if something like that happens, it's there is a opportunity for huge, very rapid growth. It's when you are in that growth, obviously, if you're just by yourself, and you don't, and we here on the West, we don't have a tradition of a guru or anybody who is kind of immediately attached to a person like that.
Right.
So people have to get help somewhere. So they're looking for mentors, somebody who understands the energy, mastering that whole self, right?
Right. Is it usually people who, when it boils down to it, doesn't everyone want to be part of like a family, no matter what kind of family it is?
You're talking about, I guess, the desire to belong. So one of my books is called I Belong, The Journey from Lost to Found, which is just describes that phenomena. Yes, we all, absolutely, as soon as we're born here in this world, we have this longing to be attached to something or to somebody, of course. And it's a very natural thing, but
isn't that the part that's lost in a lot of these mass murderers and serial killers?
Yeah, there are always people who are on their own, and they're not, socially well connected.
Yeah, they tend to be.
But on the other hand, gang members, that's what they always say. They're out, shooting people and doing all kinds of nasty stuff.
Yeah, they're a murderer gang.
And it's it's like they're like my family.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Very strange. So, well, Dr. Lira, I wish Coco was here because he could have, used some of your sage advice. Switch, is there any questions you want to ask the doctor? Now's your chance before the health plan kicks in.
Yeah, I guess I could ask. I've been having a lot of speaking opportunities and so forth, and I'm trying to learn from every experience and get a little bit better. I'm still feeling kind of uncomfortable. I'm not as smooth as I'd like to be. Any advice you have for somebody going on, starting to get speaking engagements and relating to the audience?
Absolutely. Well, number one is definitely understand that you're here to do the job, It's not about you. Doesn't matter about your ego. You can love it in a very private place, right? This is what I'm really teaching, that it's between you and you. But whenever you're coming out to speak on the stages and you have people in front of you, so this is your job to bring in the message. And what I say is that artists, creators, innovators, we are all from the future. So that means we are naturally going to be misunderstood.
Right.
So it is our responsibility to make ourselves understood. We don't have to fit in, but we do have to translate and communicate what we mean and what we have to say. And it's just an effort. And I think it's the best thing is to switch from worrying about how you're going to look on that stage into what other people are feeling when you are talking with them. Are they getting it?
Wow.
So that,
Okay.
That's good advice.
Yeah, I mean, do you get stage fright at all, Steve? Or nervous?
Not a little bit. I have to drink a lot of water at this stage.
Yeah.
Gets very dry up
But
there.
a Jack Daniels in
But
water might.
in most of the situations, there are people that it's not like I'm in an audience of a bunch of skeptics that want to throw tomatoes or anything like that. It's a receptive audience, so I have that advantage. So that's good. So they're actually here to hear what I say, and I've gotten some nice feedback. So that part is good.
Okay. All right. Next time we talk to him, he'll be like, "Don't look me directly in the eyes." I feel that vibe coming.
You can only look to my bodyguard here.
Listen, Juan-Juan, I can't imagine you having any kind of stage fright or anything. I think you just go right out there and let him have it, right?
I did when I was in high school. I was in a band. I was in the Battle of the Bands thing, and I had stage fright. I know what that feels like. You got over it after a few minutes, but it's just a weird.
Well, that's
feeling.
just nervous.
Stomach. Yeah, I guess that's nervousness. The stage fright. Yeah, I wouldn't call it stage fright.
Yeah, you don't go on.
You're right about that. Yeah, it's just nervousness.
Like I'm petrified, man. I can't talk in front of more than like 3 or 4 people.
Wow.
Yeah, I used to have to give reports.
The famed author that you are.
I don't have to talk to anyone. It's great. When I was at the big company whose initials were G and E, every once in a while you'd have to give a presentation in front of like about 12 people.
Right.
For like a month, man. I'd be going crazy and stuff. And then I would go through all these things where I'd bring in a TV and I'd make most of my presentation on a TV. This is going way back when. And then I would turn out the lights. Not that you need to turn out the lights to watch TV, but I would always do it. And that would make me kind of feel a little calmer. What do you think about that, Dr.
That's
Lira?
cool.
Really spilling it all out.
I'd say whatever it takes, whatever helps. Absolutely. Switch off the lights. I always say, like, you can always admitting to your feelings. It actually gets you out of the feelings immediately. So there's many techniques and tricks you can use before you go on the stage. Once you you feel like your knees are trembling, you can just say, well, my knees are trembling because I'm a bit nervous.
Right.
And you suddenly stop being nervous. And people like, whatever, they get it.
Yeah.
The only speech I ever gave was to MUFON down Virginia, MUFON. Okay. I went on at 11:15. I was at the bar at 10 in the morning. 10 in the morning, man. It's really just a little bit too much,
Wow.
Had a couple, Jack and Gingers. Got up there and had one, kind of close
So
by.
Jack and Ginger are holding a hand, and you're up there, and you're good to go.
Yeah, for 90 minutes. Wow. And then as soon as it was over, right back to the bar.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, hey, Dr. Lira says if it works, right? And I was a big hit. So they tell me. Anyway, so I'm like kind of anxious, like I say, just speaking in front of people and stuff like that. It's not something I like, but other people just love it. They stay on too long.
It took me a while to get used to it. I would do it from time to time in the corporate world, and I got to like it after a while.
Yeah, not me. You're a bigger man than me, Gunga did. Anyway, hey, listen, Dr. Lira, thanks for joining us tonight. We really love your new publicity photo. Okay, can we say, if we haven't said that already,
it's awesome.
We'll say it again. And where can people go to, contact you and also see this photo?
Awesome. It's she'sgotpassion.com.
Okay.
She'sgotpassion.com. Yeah.
What is it?
She'sgotpassion.com.
She's got passion. Got
wow. And you get a lot of letters, I understand. I wonder why. And if someone, goes online, what would they do? How would they contact you? Do you do Skype consultations?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Sorry,
yeah.
That was my ego, like.
Well, okay.
Okay.
So you can't possibly be talking to me.
Skype, yes, I do Skype. I do Zoom. I do all sorts of things. Yeah.
Okay.
You could certainly find out online something. Type in Lira K. Lots of things I'm doing.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, if I type in anything, it's going to be she'sgotpassion.com. Right, Juan-Juan? You wrote
That's
that in? One last question, Dr. Lira. How would one get over the fear of flying?
You have to switch your associations with flying. So for now, it's a fear. It's the feeling of being uncomfortable. Something maybe like feeling kind of dizzy, maybe sick.
Yep.
But what you need to now associate flying with is something that you love, like whatever, I don't know. I'm looking at roses here, blossom, love, good food.
Well,
it
always feels good when you land, you know what I mean? And I always think that it's that kind of thing where, you pray for stuff to go wrong just so when they don't go wrong, it's like, all right.
You can be thankful.
You can be thankful and you feel great. You know, you want those endorphins.
It's a rush.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's natural. You can allow yourself to feel naturally being afraid of death. That's totally normal.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Going down in flames from 30,000 feet. So
you see too many movies about it. That's the problem.
That's true. Yeah.
I think our problem is we don't have any control over the situation like you would have over a car.
Yeah, right.
Of course, you lose that control if you're going over a bridge in the car doing 95. You're sort of like.
Have you thought if I was like flying in a business jet or a Learjet or something like that, I wouldn't feel as bad, But just that you're in this can with all these people, they're not going to know what to do.
When we flew to Nova Scotia, they had to balance the software. My wife had to sit over there, and we had carry-on had to be over in this chair. We had to be balanced in the plane. There was only about 6 of us on the plane.
That's when you take Amtrak
from New Hampshire.
Yeah, right.
What?
That's the best advertisement for Amtrak I've ever heard.
Wait a minute. If I'm overweight, I'll get off. Eileen, I'll meet you later on the next flight.
Wow. They actually balanced you out on the plane?
Yeah, they did. They did.
Okay. All right. So now my fear of flying, all of a sudden, I feel better about myself. This is really
I guess you weren't supposed to fly like this.
Hey, I took the train down to Florida. I've gone all over the country, and the train, it's really a nice way to travel.
I love
the time,
traveling by train.
And it's not sitting in the seat. I get my own little personal, bedroom and stuff like that. It's really a lot of fun, okay? And, people always say to me, why are you doing that? Well, I don't like to fly, And the last time I went down, I get off at Boynton Beach, and Delray Beach is the next stop, and an airplane crashed onto the train tracks.
Oh.
I mean, wouldn't that be the most ironic way to go? You take on the train
right
in
front of
flying. Yeah. And they said, well, we can't go any further. There's a fire on the track. Why? What happened? There's a plane crashed on there, like a little plane, Probably a coke smuggling plane or something. Would that be a way to go? He's on a train and the plane hits the track.
What's that called? Is that called irony?
That is irony. That's the definition of irony.
I get a fear of flying.
Okay. All right. I've already.
What a matchup!
And what a team, Mike. Metro PCS and the iPhone SE for $0 on a network that covers 99% of people in the U.S. Oh, impressive.
Play with the best. Switch to Metro PCS on an unlimited LTE plan and get a 32-gig iPhone SE for $0. Metro PCS. Coverage not available in some areas, plus sales tax. Claim based on talk and text. Not valid for active numbers currently on the T-Mobile network or active on Metro PCS in the past 90 days. See store for details and terms and conditions.
You bared my heart enough.
Wow.
Dr. Lira, am I savable? Can I, is it worth it or should I just give up?
Fear of flying.
Everything's savable. We can talk about letting go of control next time, because I was listening for some keywords and they heard, it's hard to let go of control.
Can I call you tomorrow morning?
Yeah.
I think I might need it. Anyway, thanks, Dr. Lira. You're great.
We all need something. Can we put you on retainer, or
Please.
How do you call that? Under contract.
Yeah, under retainer. Yes.
And you can do this by remote control, by telepathy, right?
By Skype, baby. Yeah, the miracle of Skype. TV and all.
So you can do like a Monty Python. We have like a bunch of different images just going back and forth. Like,
the other miracle of Skype is we got all this great information free.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yep. Okay. Wow. All of a sudden, Switchy is he's going to be a spokesman for Skype.
When you live in California, things happen to you. If you're from the Midwest or the East, you get to California, you're kind of loosening up a bit.
Yeah,
already it's like
baby.
You see Alcatraz over there, and you say, "Man, I'm glad I don't go over there."
Suckers.
You know, you go down to Fisherman's Wharf and you look at the seals that are up there. They took over whatever pier it was. It's like they took it over. Like you could dock about 30 boats there. And they're sunning themselves, and, you know, people walking around.
Didn't they start shooting those seals or something? Weren't they going to feed them?
Well, they're not supposed to.
Feed the homeless with the blubber or something?
I don't know. I didn't hear that story.
Anyway, I just made it up. Actually, is that where they throw the fish at each other down at Fisherman's Wharf? Is that in San Francisco or is that somewhere else?
I don't know where that activity either.
Some places. Oh, in Seattle, they throw fish.
I mean, the seals are protected.
Oh, really? Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you don't want to hear it.
Right, Dr. Lira? Down at Fisherman's Wharf.
I'm not sure. I know that they're cute. Everything very laid back here in California.
It
is.
So
everything is laid back.
I can say.
Well, thank you for laying us back for the past 35 minutes there, Dr. Lira. We really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you soon. And people who want to get in touch with her is she'sgotpassion.com. All right. And
Thank you.
We'll talk to you soon. Thank you for clearing our noodles, okay?
Thank you, Dr. Lira.
There she goes.
Thank you, Dr. Lira.
Bye.
Bye now.
I'm just going to come out and say it. She's like beautiful, isn't she?
Yeah.
Wow.
And she's got a great voice.
Yeah. I know we're not supposed to be talking like that these days.
I know.
I can't help it. Anyway, the beautiful.
Well, I think those are okay.
Yeah, okay, good. We'll find out, won't we? So, hey, you're listening to Mack Maloney's Military X-Files show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. Are you okay there, Switchy?
I'm doing good.
Okay, all right. Do you feel like you're a little more clear about the future?
Yeah, it was good advice.
Okay, good.
And also,
yes,
we got I've been in contact with Emily.
Okay.
About 5 minutes ago, she was had been getting signed in, so she's probably getting her stuff.
All right.
She
just jumped up on the. Yeah, he's already running the show. He's running the show, Coco. I mean, JJ.
He knows everything that's going on right now.
Yeah, I don't like that. Not really. Anyway,
good job.
Please do the next 10 shows in a row. Hey, listen, why don't we do this? We'll be right back after this. Listen to Mack Maloney's Military X-Files show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. Welcome back, everyone, to Mack Maloney's Military X-Files show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. This is we're at the tail end of a very big shoe here tonight. Juan-Juan is here, 5th week in a row.
This is the tail end?
Well, no, it's the middle part. It's the middle. It's the nougat part of the Milky Way.
Okay,
of the show. And he's here. He's,
I want the show to last all night.
Okay. Yeah.
This just did. It's the marathon show.
You'll have to listen to Mac after that.
Em's going to be on for an hour.
The Viagra sessions after 3 hours. You got to go to the hospital.
Oh.
I'm on it. I'm telling you, I'm on it. I'm on that Mac After Dark thing.
Sheesh. After
last week's show, it was like the filthiest thing I'd ever heard. And Jeff had, as I said earlier, he had to go through and just cut it like...
I can't... last week's, really, because...
Yeah. Remember I kept saying to you, this isn't going to be on. There's no way in the world we're going to put this on. Because it would take so long to edit it down.
Oh. Then I'll have to listen to the unedited version somehow.
Yeah, Mac After Dark.
Yeah.
The circle is complete. Anyway.
Oh.
So Juan-Juan is here. Coco is not here. He's off, tending his flock of sheep or something. Sitting in his
I'm
place.
glad Coco's not here because he'd be whipping us into shape.
Wow, huh? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We'd have to play, We'd have to play, what was the name? Whip It.
Devo.
Good, Devo, yeah. Anyway, we should do a music show. We'd be there all night going, what was that? Back and forth.
And you can't Google it.
It's like 2 old geezers doing a rock show. They can't remember anything.
Hey, can you remember the 80s? Yeah, I remember this band called Wham.
Yes, there you go. You do voices very well. Anyway, to straighten us all out, Switch is here, and his celebrity status has gone up so much. First of all, he's taking Coco's place, which is very unusual.
That's amazing.
He has all
Did
these.
Did Coco know about this, by the way?
No, not really.
No, he does. He was gracious enough to loan me his trailer and his makeup people.
All right.
Oh,
good.
wow.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, he does have more than one makeup person. And
Coco's a team player.
Right. Yeah. And here he is calling right now. And so it was so bad. It just this celebrity thing came at him so quickly. In a Dave Clark 5 kind of way. You know what I mean? All of a sudden you're famous. You know, we had Dr. Lira on earlier, and she calmed him down mentally and physically. Well, maybe not physically. And said that all you have to do is fall in love with your own ego, something that you've already perfected there, JJ.
That's right. I'm comfortable with my ego. I'll tell you that right now.
All right, good.
Totally.
There was a lot of things in her, you know, advice to us which involved going in a corner by yourself, and she didn't say playing with yourself, but she says being with yourself. Right?
It's like navel gazing. It's really a cerebral moment where you're so in touch with yourself that you give yourself goosebumps.
When do you have the time to go and sit in a corner?
I don't know.
Look at your belly button.
You Google YouTube and one of those Jason Stevenson's meditation seance. Don't run heavy machinery while listening to this video kind of thing.
There's some the guy who his first date with his wife of many, many years was a seance, right?
That's right.
Okay, think about that.
Right.
I'd think about
first
that every
day.
day.
A seance.
Every day of my marriage, I think.
And her mother did automatic writing.
Yeah, okay. She probably said get rid
and
of it.
Eileen drew my angel one night. This was like after her marriage. She drew my angel, and she wrote the stuff. But it was English, but she's writing it in a style she never writes like that.
Yes.
She doesn't even talk like that.
Go ahead.
And it's the angel talking through the pen.
Yes.
And it was my personal one of my personal guardian angels.
Really? You have more than one?
Yeah. Well, you don't always have the same one every day.
They switch on and off?
They take shifts.
Really?
Yeah, it depends on what the skill set is, what they bring to the table. What's the game plan?
Yeah,
it's like the Patriots.
Right, yeah.
You know?
Well, as I said before, just as long as mine...
One minute you're a wide receiver, next thing you know, you're a tight end.
Oh, wait a minute. That's... Okay, we're running out
I was talking... There's a football terminology.
Okay. All right. I'm going to do the same joke I did 2 weeks ago. I hope my guardian angel likes ex-hamster because he's going to see a lot of it, believe me. Anyway, this isn't the kind of talk we're here for today.
Oh, man. What are we doing?
Our favorite correspondent is calling in from our nation's capital. Okay, so you know this must be big. That's Emily M. Emily Mittermeier. How you doing there?
Hello.
Yeah, wow.
I'm your favorite correspondent?
Yes.
So President Trump called you or what?
Yeah.
No.
It's a good thing my ego's in check.
Yeah, really. Yeah. Yeah.
They were prepping you for that, Steve, before I came in.
Wow. Boy, I'll tell you, the whole, timbre of the show changes when her voice comes on.
I know.
Anyway, so you're down in Washington, D.C., correct?
I am.
Okay. Have you gone out how long have you been down there?
For a couple of hours.
Oh, if it was a couple of days, I was going to ask you.
Did you drive down or did you fly?
No, I flew.
Okay.
Yeah. And
that's right,
you're down
Cincinnati.
there in business, right?
Yep.
Okay. How long are you going to be there for?
I go back Thursday night.
Okay. All right. So you'll be there for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Now, do you go out? You're a businesswoman. We can say that. Okay. That's not offensive, is it?
No.
Okay. And do you go out at night when you're at these business functions for more than 2 or 3 nights?
Sometimes here, probably more likely than other places because my company's office is here. Okay. So I know a lot of people.
Yep. All right.
That's
yeah.
Cool.
There's a lot of places to go out down there. I mean, in Georgetown alone, there's a lot of cool bars,
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So I got to ask this. Do people just guys just hit on you all the time in bars? Can you tell us?
Not really, but admittedly, I don't go out very much.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. I don't believe
on business. You got to be careful.
Either one, but okay.
You got to do that if you're on business. You got to be sort of be on your own, and unless you're with coworkers, because
you
got a mission there. You're on business, and you probably have a client the next morning. You don't.
Going out drinking with coworkers, not people that you kind of friendly are, but just people who work on the same company. It never goes right, man. You always get drunk, and everyone's like,
it's kind of interesting.
Hey, the boss is an a-hole, and boom, boom, boom. And you wind up talking about business.
Yeah.
I mean, we go out drinking. We talk about business. What's the point? So
I did a gig for Cabletron at the DOT, and it was a weekend. It was more like a weekend getaway.
Yes.
So, but
are the hookers and coke involved?
I had
in
a
the
demonstration I had to do for the DOT. It was a network management platform, Unix based, and it's all tech crap. Then you got to unwind.
You're cutting out into N's time here.
Okay. What's going on?
That's good advice, though. Sounds like they just.
And my daughter lives in Alexandria and works in D.C., so it's
also
it's a cool city.
Yeah, but that's like the most expensive place in the country to live.
I know.
Alexandria.
That's what she's telling me.
That's why those federal employees, man, they get paid a lot of money. Yeah, it used to be like a civil servant's job. Now, that's a freaking career, man. Yeah. Some of them get, getting $90,000 and $100,000 for, is not bad.
And that doesn't get you very far here.
No. Anyway, so, Em, you have a story for us tonight, a classic military UFO encounter story?
I do. I have the Hobart incident story for you this evening. Mm-hmm. And this was an event that occurred during the Viet Nam War. June 15th, 1968 is when it began. And basically what was happening was between North and South Vietnam, there was about a mile-wide stretch of land that was a demilitarized zone. So DMZ is what it was called. Right. And so around this zone, the night of June 15th, there were U.S. military personnel stationed kind of in the eastern end of this zone near the coast, and they saw these slow-moving lights overhead. And naturally, they assumed it was aircraft from the enemy because it was not any Allied aircraft that were in the area that were doing that, and thought perhaps it was North Vietnamese helicopters either transporting people or supplies back to their region.
Right.
But it seemed odd that would be happening because they were so close to the southern Vietnam border that, surely if they got too close, they would be shot down, obviously. So it seemed odd that it was them, but they didn't know who else it could be.
Right.
So they saw these lights. And they basically sprung into action. The U.S. military did. They rushed anti-aircraft weapons to that area. They put U.S. Air Force fighters nearby on high alert. They asked any of their ally warships in the area to be able to patrol the coast area along that DMZ just to see if they saw anything, because they were expecting some offensive attack by North Vietnam.
Right.
Seeing these lights there. And so the lights went away that night, but then the following night they reappeared. And so the U.S. Air Force fighters were dispatched to that area. And U.S. anti-aircraft guns were fired at the object. Nothing hit it. And the hot object, as they were firing at it and these fighters were trying to catch up to it, it just turns and heads towards the coast and out over the ocean. Mm-hmm. And as it was out there, it was around, I think, 3:30 a.m. in the morning.
Right.
And one of our allies, the Australians, they had a Navy destroyer out there, the HMAS Hobart. And so it was patrolling. It was on alert, knowing that these lights had been seen the night before and now this night. And so they were patrolling off of the coast there near this demilitarized zone,
right.
And detected an aircraft approaching. And as it was trying to get in contact with that aircraft, a missile hit its starboard side, killing one of its sailors and injuring another two sailors that were on board. And then seconds later, 2 more missiles hit this ship, killing yet another sailor and injuring a few more. So it really ended horribly for the people aboard the Hobart. And they tried to fire back at this object, this aircraft that they were seeing, but couldn't hit anything. Mm-hmm. And then obviously afterwards, an investigation happened to figure out what was going on, and found that the missiles that hit the Hobart had come from the U.S. fighter planes that were in the area, and they were trying to hit the object that was, projecting these mysterious lights, and missed it, and unfortunately hit this Australian ship instead. And after this happened, there were several more instances where these same lights, these same slow-moving lights, were spotted in that same area. Mm-hmm. Following this. So it was not an isolated incident. I mean, we saw it twice before taking action, and then several more times after this they appeared again, but we did not take action or fire at them in those subsequent times, obviously, to avoid a repeat of what happened with the Hobart. And further investigation, it never found anything that could explain that. There was no evidence of enemy aircraft in that area. Mm-hmm. Nothing.
Here's the weird thing about it is, I've read up on this story before. The North Vietnamese did not have any helicopters during that entire war. They just didn't have them.
They had very little technology.
Yeah, they had fighters that came from Russia or whatever, but where the Americans had literally tens of thousands of helicopters in South Vietnam, the North Vietnamese just didn't fly helicopters. Okay, all of a sudden they see these lights, or the DMZ, which you're not supposed to fight in. It's a demilitarized zone,
right?
And and I think in the reports they actually put enemy helicopters, knowing that there was no such thing. So they were chasing these lights, and their F-4 Phantoms from the 8th Air Force fired on this UFO,
whatever it was,
and it hit this Australian ship and killed 3 guys and injured like about 30 more guys. Started a fire. The Hobart went back to Australia, if I remember. Correct me if I'm wrong there. But it went back to Australia. In the Australian papers, they played up the fact that the U.S. planes were shooting at a UFO. Never heard about it over here. Okay,
right.
And I think they sunk the ship as a natural coral reef. It never went back into it. So it's just a strange story. Never heard about it until had to read up on it. Very unusual.
Wow.
And like you say,
something like that would have been in the papers, wouldn't it? Especially with another country involved.
It wasn't in. If it was in the U.S. papers, it wasn't a big deal. It might have been. And the guy who was the head of the 8th Air Force at the time, I think his name, it was General Peter Brown or something like that. His last name, I believe, was Brown. He went on to be on the Joint Chiefs of Staff like about 10 years later, and he used to go to places and say, we used to see these things all the time in Vietnam. We used to see all the time, and once again, people saw them in World War II with these weird things there, but you have to fight a war. You can't pay attention to them. He says we used to just see lights over the DMZ, lights over all of Vietnam all the time, and we didn't have time at the time or the,
and there was no blue book type of thing.
Yeah,
nobody
you can't go chasing them, I mean, when you have a war to prosecute. So, interesting, but very little in the paper. Very little publicity on it. So, well, Em, that was excellent reporting.
Thank you.
Steve, you're the celebrity. You're the. What did you think of that?
It was a really good report. That's an area that I was completely unfamiliar with. I really know very little about what happened in places like Vietnam and Korea. I'm more retro and more into some of the weird stuff too. Right. But this is really straight. It's good to look at these very straightforward reports with a lot of witnesses, and this is something that just really it can't be ignored. Right. It's not a matter of perception. It's something really happened there.
I'm going to toss this to. Oh, there's 2 Navy men here in the studio tonight. Juan-Juan is saluting. Therefore, I will throw this to him, as they say in the biz. I'm assuming that not to get too inside, but the missiles that came off of these planes are F-4 Phantoms, so they were sidewinder missiles.
Probably, yeah.
They were shooting at because they used them a lot fighting over North Vietnam. Okay, so it must have been 3 sidewinders, but they hit the ship. I mean, that's strange. It's
such a coincidence when you think of the target window that's out there. Right. And then, you're shooting at something totally different.
Right, yeah. I mean, why
and
would
the trajectory brings it upon like the only target out there, probably.
Those are heat-seeking missiles, aren't they? I think they are.
Yeah. So
it just went to the closest heat source. Oh, man.
I guess that could have happened. I guess.
If Coco was here, he'd know whether.
Yeah, because I don't know if you can turn that off.
No, I think once it locks on, it's on. Yeah. But, I mean, of all the missiles that have fired and missed, I mean, to hit a ship is a little unusual. I think. Switch, do you know anything about this?
No, I do not. Okay. I was on a submarine.
Oh, that's right.
Far away from all that. We fired stuff, but it was in the water.
Right. When you were out there in the submarine, were you ever near, in proximity to some?
What a matchup!
And what a team, Mike. Metro PCS and the iPhone SE for $0 on a network that covers 99% of people in the U.S. Oh, impressive.
Play with the best. Switch to Metro PCS and an unlimited LTE plan and get a 32-gig iPhone SE for $0. Metro PCS. Coverage not available in some areas, plus sales tax. Claim based on talk and text. Not valid for active numbers currently on the T-Mobile network or active on Metro PCS in the past 90 days. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Russian sub? Would they tell you? Would they tell you?
Yes. Well, I was. I stood the auxiliary forward electrician watch, which is a roving watch. Wow. When I got off duty, if we were steaming underway, I'd have to go up to control, and they would do they had all these, they had the fire control technicians, they would track everything. Yep. And they would have me plot these dots on a graph. It was kind of a backup to a backup to a backup to try and get a bearing on what they were. Well, one time we were up past the Arctic Circle. There was some kind of our mission was so top secret that I didn't know what was going on. The only enlisted guys that knew were like the radio guys and the forward electronics technicians. And but we were tracking the Russian coast was patrolled by the old diesel style submarines.
Cool. Oh, nice.
And when those things submerged, man, you couldn't hear them because they were just really quiet. So we were tracking one on the surface one time.
Yeah, a lot of noise.
Well, yeah, when they're on the surface, they're making a lot of noise, but once they go under, that's it. Now, the Mediterranean run that they were on before I reported on board, they were in the Mediterranean. They came up in a nest full of all kinds of Russian ships and everything. And I don't remember the name of it, but they got some photographs of some stuff that nobody else had. So it was a real feather in their cap. But that was before my time on the boat.
See, I could never be in a sub, man. I was in one that was on a dock, and
I've never been on one either. I don't think I could do it.
I'm sure these things. I'm sure there's, as you know, we're talking about taking Amtrak across country. You have a little bedette, they call it. I mean, that's the kind of sleeping conditions on one of those boats, right, Switchy?
Yeah, but we had submarines and targets. I was on a submarine.
Okay. Okay.
Well, you had
little military humor there.
The beds were like little coffins. Yeah. In the wall.
I don't think there was enough beds for everybody because typically there's a crew on watch and everybody else is
you
sleeping.
share the bed. Yeah.
Well, they had a term that we called hot racking.
Yeah,
don't jump to any conclusions here.
Yeah.
No.
But it was like 2 racks were available for 3 people. And when you stowed your gear underneath and you couldn't put much under there, you actually had to wake the guy up sometimes to get your stuff.
Oh, good.
But once I got enough seniority, I actually got my own rack after a while.
Full-time 24/7 rack?
Yeah. It
no.
was,
sure.
Wow. Sure. Yeah, it was,
See, even in the Navy, he was the man on the racks.
Wow.
Right? But
that's a perk, man.
When you would go underwater, I mean, you would stay underwater for weeks at a time, sometimes, right?
No, I was on a fast attack, so
okay, all right.
We weren't the boomers like they go on the
okay.
long patrols, but
right.
we went to British Isles and we were under several weeks. But usually it wasn't that long. We didn't go on the long patrols, but the calendar year that I reported on board, I was out and they were out 40 weeks out of the year.
Wow.
So it was 2 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. I mean, you'd get some Liberty ports or whatever, not very many.
Right.
But you just never knew when you're going to be out.
Right. When would they tell you where you were? I mean, if you had Liberty, then would they say, we're in the Bahamas?
We knew where we were going, usually. That was just the only top secret mission we were on. We were up past the Arctic Circle. But we went to the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico and Portsmouth, England.
Sounds like Juan-Juan's tour duty, all the spots up and down the East
Up and down the Guantanamo Bay area.
Okay, you were also at Newport, Rhode Island.
Yeah.
My friend. I keep reminding people.
Newport, big deal.
Yeah,
it's where the
1%ers
kick out the 1%ers.
Oh, Cocoa Beach. We pulled in and they held up us leaving for about 15 minutes so we could watch a shuttle launch.
Oh, cool.
We were. Yeah.
Wow. It was the captain, it was a captain of the ship, right? Was he a captain or was he like a rear admiral?
He was a commander, and then he was a full captain after a while.
Okay.
He got the 4 bars.
So was he an a-hole? Did everyone hate him?
Well, he was kind of intimidating, to say the least.
Okay, all right.
But then the next captain was kind of a different personality. He didn't seem to be have the same.
So intimidating. Nature. I mean, was he an intimidating guy, or was he just playing the intimidating guy? I could see.
He was playing the intimidating guy, but I got to tell you, I wasn't that crazy about him. Yeah. But I never once feared for my safety while he was in command aboard the sub. We went through the shipyard period where we had to do the test. The test blow at the end, where you the emergency blow, where you are at test depth, and everything has gone well in the shipyard,
that's what they call it.
And everything doesn't leak or anything, and you go to the surface.
Right. Okay. You in the middle of all that, you said both our secret phrases. They were.
Yeah, I knew that. That's why I kept talking fast because I thought, man, I just said the wrong thing there.
What are you going to get? You're going to get a puck by the goldies here? No way. The 2 phrases were Juan-Juan.
Test blow.
Hang on. And
what was the other one? I forgot already.
the emergency blow.
Oh.
Oh, now so do I get a gift card or
Yeah, you
something,
sure
right?
do. Yeah. The nearest massage parlor. Anyway, so what was the food on the sub?
It was excellent.
Yeah,
I thought it was great.
So they did. That's been since World War II. The guys in the subs, man, dangerous
best
job.
food ever. Yeah,
the best food.
Well,
ever.
the food on the base and on the sub base, and I never had any complaints. I thought it was great.
Oh, good. Yeah, well, that's good to know that our taxpayers went.
Our galley
Our
on the
tax dollars
amphibious
went
base in Little Creek, Virginia, was awesome too. It's like it was like a restaurant.
Yeah. Hey, good for you.
It was set up like a restaurant too.
And the commies
So
never
you didn't have to make
anywhere.
reservations. It's just
Who's this? Michigan?
Little Creek, Virginia, amphibious base. That's
commies
where they
came nowhere near it there.
We worked. Get this. I was in Inshore Undersea Warfare Group. We worked with the Seabees. Fighting Seabees.
Yep.
We worked
Engineers.
with
SEALs,
the beach jumpers, and the SEALs.
The SEALs, yeah.
They're all clustered in amphibious.
Yeah,
I say work with. You have these make believe missions that you do and you practice them.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Did you ever go drinking with them? Ever challenge them to a fight and stuff like that?
No.
Okay, all right. If you had, it would be another show because we're running.
That's right.
Anyway,
I'd be deformed. I wouldn't be able to talk to you.
Okay. I was supposed to say
the Marines trained us, so there's a Marine contingent down there, and they trained us for 2 weeks. It's like,
oh really? Yeah,
it's like a mini Marine boot camp.
Yeah, they're crazy. Most Marines are really kind of,
Yeah, they beat us up, but then we'd be drinking with them.
But you loved
after.
it, yeah. Okay, some people are into
great.
that. Hey, listen, it's the end of the show. Can you believe it?
No way.
We want to thank Willy Miranda on his new show. It's going to be called The Paradigm Matrix. Okay, on KCOR
Radio Network,
9 p.m. Friday nights.
Eastern. It's a live show.
It's the first plug I've ever remembered. Remembered by heart. Without
live
lots
show.
of study. Anyway, next Friday, every Friday. We want to thank Dr. Lira for joining us tonight and straighten us out, for at least the next few weeks or so.
She was a lot of fun as usual.
A lot of fun, a lot of fun.
She got a little silly for a while. She cut us some slack.
Can't help it. Anyway, a lot of fun and a lot of fun to look at, frankly. Speaking of that, also someone who's a lot of fun to look at, even though we're a radio show.
Emily.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Yeah, there you go, Steve.
Oh, sorry.
Good material.
I jumped on my lines again.
Well, that's good.
You did. Good
the
move.
timing was good. Emily, sorry, you can play Steve for that, but thank you for joining us and classing up the show as you do every week.
Sure.
And that report, was great on the HMAS Hobart off of Vietnam. Look it up. Fascinating story. Thank you, Juan-Juan, for joining us.
Well, glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
To the man on the way up, Switchboard.
And thanks for allowing me to fill in for Commander Cobra tonight. It was a lot of fun.
Big shows, big shoes.
So it's going to be a little problem trying to get Switch on our schedule because of his vast list of public engagements.
I heard the phrase today, call my people. He told me, so.
So you send us who your people are, and we'll get right on it. And
well, most of them are imaginary at this point.
Oh, really?
So
yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Go in the corner with them, as Dr. Lira would say, and have some fun with yourself. Isn't that what she said?
She said fun with yourself. Something like that.
That's one of the night. Jeff, you get your word cut off again.
Oh, man.
Well, thanks for everyone listening to us. Thanks for everyone tuning in, and thanks to the posse. Until next week, this is Mack Maloney for the gang saying, be safe, be happy, and...
Bye-bye.
What a matchup!
And what a team, Mike. Metro PCS and the iPhone SE for $0 on a network that covers 99% of people in the U.S. Oh, impressive.
Play with the best. Switch to Metro PCS and an unlimited LTE plan and get a 32-gig iPhone SE for $0. Metro PCS. Coverage not available in some areas, plus sales tax. Claim based on talk and text. Not valid for active numbers currently on the T-Mobile network or active on Metro PCS in the past 90 days. See store for details.